Now let's begin part 2. We're going to place some trains. First we need to get our bearings. To move around, you use the arrow keys. And you can turn with your mouse. And here we see a bunch of icons from the route. Those right there, circles, are portals to exit your AI trains into. And we see Foss Annex has 2 sections of track, and that's where we're going to place our train. On the left side you have several flyouts. I like to pin them all open to have the tools available. In the middle box is all of the assets that you can apply. We're mostly interested in our trains. And this is the rolling stock button, and engines and tenders if you're using steam. And all the icons all have a tooltip to tell you what they are. During scenario creation, you'll mostly be dealing with the first 3. The third one is consists if we create some here. And I want to use NERW equipment. Since everything is prefixed with NE, it's nice and easy to find them. So I want 2 bays, and I'm going to use the green ones. And you click, click 6 times. Zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Now I have 6 hoppers placed on the siding. Hoppers come, and most of the cars come in an unloaded state, and we want to have them loaded. Since that's what they did here, they got loaded full of grain. As you see, when you move the mouse over the cars, the highlight changes on them. When you double click a car, you get a fly out over to the right, which you can also pin. And this little car looking icon is the load state. Being as there's no check mark, then the car is empty. And when you click it, the car is then loaded and has a new weight. This little blue train icon is showing you the number of the car, which you could change if you desired. And we have 1 car loaded. But doing that for each individual car can be quite time consuming. So over in this bottom flyout on the left side, you have a little icon that is called Consist Select. When you click it, and then you click on a car, all of them are selected. So if you double click on one, now you can't change the number because there's more than 1 car. So there's only the loaded state icon. When you click it, all of the cars are loaded now. Now these are hoppers, so you really can't see a load. But doing that with a container car or an open bay hopper or a gondola would actually place something in there. The NERW cars are loaded because of the cargo weight was defined for them. So when you click that button, the program reads the cargo weight, even though none display. How could they? They're in a covered hopper. So we have the 6 cars that we want, and now we need an engine. So I'm going to select the engine icon to show only engines, and I want an NERW engine, and I think I'll take the blue SD40. Place it on the track, and it's facing the wrong direction, so I'll click it, and you get a gizmo on the top. When you click one of the pyramid sides or the other, it reverses, and slide it back into the hoppers. As you can see, this is one of the bugs of the editor. There are no couplers displayed, but when you move this, oh, I have them all in consist. Let me take this off to explain this. It makes a definite sound when you hook up. That's how you know you did, whether you can see the coupler or not. So this is our train that we're going to drive, and we need a driver. In the top toolbox is the driver icon, little guy there with the hat. Click him, then click your engine, and one of the little driver gizmos appears. Now when you select it and double click it, it gets a fly out, and you can give your engine a name. And what I usually do is I take the railroad, whatever route we're on, whatever engine it is. These are NERW, so I make it an NE, and then I take the numbers off of the side. You can do whatever you want. The name shows up in the game when you press F6 to turn on all the balloons, and you'll actually see that name displayed above the engine. The next little button down is to designate whether this engine is going to be the player consist, which we want. If you don't collect it, it just stays as an AI train. This box for setting the destination is not needed here. Back before we had the timetable view editor, this was how you made the old scenarios. So you just leave that alone. We'll be getting to that in the other mode. And this is the start time. If it was an AI engine, you might not want it to start at exactly 9 a.m. like our train is, but our train is at 9 a.m. And also the scenario start time is set at 9 a.m. Then we need to classify our unit, and we will be doing standard freight. You notice that it defaults to special. You do not want to ever name or classify an engine as special, because it will throw all the switches that are on its path, and it will not unlock them for anything or anybody, and then you just totally destroyed the AI programming that you could have done. So always pick what the train is actually going to do, but don't pick special. And there's also priorities here. Light engine, other freight, starting at the bottom, these are the lowest priorities. So high-speed freight gets priority over an express freight, but a passenger train of any kind has priority over any other freight. this will help you while you're making AI traffic. The time here, one thing to note about it is if you're making a scenario at night and you give it a nighttime time and you save it and then reload it, when you reload it, the scenario editing window is now in that time. So you're actually working in the dark. Over in the toolbox, they give you a flashlight. They call it a torch. And it does help when you're doing stuff at night, but it's not really enough. So I suggest that you write your scenario, as much of it as you can, in the daylight times, and then when you're ready, change the time. So you'll have to change the time on your player engine and also back at the scenario properties. And any AI, you would also have to adjust their starting times as well. We'll get into AI later on in the tutorial. Okay, so for now we have our engine set up. It has a name. It's a player consist by this little check mark. It's going to start at 9 and it's standard freight. Zoom back a little bit. When you're using the arrow keys, if you want to go fast, if you hold down the shift key while pressing an arrow, you go fast. Without the shift key, you do a normal speed. We'll be using the shift and the arrow key a little bit later. Okay, this train is ready to go and I'm going to save. Save all our work. And then we'll go into the timetable view mode, which will be this little pie-shaped Pac-Man-ish icon here.